Hi, this is Doug Grunther with the Friday Trends Special. And tonight we're excited to go inside the brand new August Trends Journal with the publisher of the journal, Gerald Celente. Gerald, great to see you again.
Oh, great being here and having you here. And this Friday Trends Special about the new August Trends Journal, this is some magazine. You know, it used to be a quarterly. It's been a quarterly since 1991.
Now every month.
Every month.
And this is chock full, and of course, we always count on you for insights into the economy, and there's a big story going on right now. Clear it up for us. What's going on with the Turkish lira, and why is it affecting the global economy?
It's bigger than the Turkish lira. There's a number of things going on here. Subscribers to the Trends Journal know what's going on. We've been talking about what's going on with the rising dollar and the sinking emerging markets now for months. In the Trends Journal, in Trend Alerts, and in Trends in the News. It's new news to most of the people because when you turn on the news, what do you get? Hey, did you hear about Stormy Daniels today? So they're not even talking about it. Matter of fact, here is a clip from CNN, the Cartoon News Network. This is what they were talking about as the lira is plummeting and the emerging market currencies are going down with it. Not one word. But we've been talking about it, so here's the deal. The Federal Reserve has been aggressively raising interest rates. The stronger the dollar gets, all of these emerging markets, currencies go lower. Now, they have, since the financial crisis, $40 trillion in debt. And a lot of that's dollar-based. So the weaker their currencies go, the more money they need to pay off that debt. And Turkey has another load. Turkey was going down before these sanctions hit.
They've had internal strife there for quite a while.
Yes, and the government has been juicing up the economy artificially. Hey, did you ever hear that one before? Name the country, right? They're all doing it. They have just in corporate debt about $300 billion, most of it dollar-based. Now, Erdogan, the president, doesn't believe in raising interest rates to stop inflation. They have an inflation rate of over 100% this year. 100% inflation.
In 1 year.
In 1 year. So now the Turkish lira is going down. They're concerned about all those banks in Europe that loan them that money. So that's one issue. The other issue is sanctions. Isn't that a proper word for economic warfare?
Or tariff sounds kind of sweet, doesn't it?
Yeah, the tariffs are another issue. Sanctions are a different one. It's stopping a country's progressive economic growth. There's cyber war, military war, there's sanction war. It's a form of warfare. So that's what's going on. Now, let's go back to 1997, and I was one of the first ones to call the Asian currency crisis. Thailand's baht was doing what the Turkish lira was doing, and the contagion spread throughout Asia. This contagion has been going on before Turkey. You take a trip down to Argentina. They just raised, as the Turkish problem got worse, they just raised their interest rates 5%. We in the United States, it's a big deal when they raise them 25 basis points. So now it's from 40% interest rates to 45% interest rates. That stops the economy. Then you go around the world. South Africa, the Brazilian real, the Kazakhstan, the Iranian lira, the one currency, the Indian rupee at an all-time low against the dollar. What does that mean? Hey, oil prices are going up. They import 80% of their oil. Oil is dollar-based. Now they got to spend more money. So yes, this is a big deal. And here's the bottom line. I believe from this, and we're the only ones talking about it, that the Federal Reserve, if this continues, will not aggressively raise interest rates. They won't raise them 2 more times this year. Because the higher those rates go, the deeper these currencies go down. The Chinese yuan is down to like a 14-month low against the dollar.
So this is really an interesting education because normally we kind of arrogant Americans say, hey, We'll do our strong dollar. The heck with the rest of the world. But what you're describing to us is a true global economy where you can't just separate yourself out from other currencies. They all seem to be interrelated in some way.
Yes, but the other part is the banksters, these low-life SOBs, gave us negative and zero interest rate policy. So even with the Fed raising interest rates, the overnight rate is only between 1.75 and 2%. It's nothing. So they caused this problem. So now they're trying to raise interest rates to some kind of sustainable level, and they can't do it because that's the only thing that drove up the global economy, is record low interest rates, so the multinationals and the others could boost the equity markets. You got negative interest rates in Europe. You got negative interest rates in Japan. They didn't teach you this in Economics 101 or in graduate school. So what this is, it's blowback from the banksters blowing up the artificial economy.
So given that reality, what can you say to the folks looking in as to how they might invest or how they might defend themselves against this? Is there any way? I know you've talked about gold for a long time.
Yeah, well, gold prices are going down because you go back to the 1997 Asian currency crisis. Gold went down because gold is dollar-based. India, I mentioned. It costs more their rupee to buy gold. They're one they like, they got gold more than, just about anything else. So they're not buying it. Chinese aren't buying it. They can't afford it.
So what is someone to do?
I believe that gold may go up if they don't raise interest rates. And right now, to me, it's a wait and see. And I don't give financial advice. But to me, cash is the way right now.
All right, let's now turn to another very important topic, which is not getting the attention it deserves. It's getting the attention in this month's Trends Journal, and it has to do with baby boomers. And baby boomers born between 1946 and 1964, we went through probably the most expansive economy the world had ever seen, and we were promised work hard, retire comfortably. What's the trend?
Well, baby boomer bust. There were babies no more. It's over. And you got it, man. We had it golden, boy. We had the best post-World War II. We had it all. And now we don't have it, much of it anymore at all. Health-wise, you're looking at obesity rates and overweight boomers. You're looking at about 70% of the population. Then you're looking at income levels, deep in debt. Then what happened in 2008, all those boomers that were working and had good jobs, they got fired, lost their pensions, lost their houses. No, it's a big problem, and there's not a lot of help out there. And so what we're saying is that boomers better get serious about this. I'll tell you one business that I would get into if I was in the health business. Your health isn't doing well and you're getting older. I'd like to go to a longevity center. Find me a real one. Barely exist. Those kind of things, whole health healing, and also investment strategies to make sure that you don't end up as an inmate in a nursing home being in bad shape and out of dough. So boomers, the boomer bust is real. And if it keeps going like this, it's going to be a strain on the economy like we've never seen before. Because also, who's going to take care of you? Boomers don't have the families like when we grew up, there was an extended family. Now it's a broken up family. So this is a very serious trend, and it needs some real serious attention.
I'm just going to, a little political thing before we move on to our next subject, and that is, given what you're talking about, to me, it's an example of the dark side of capitalism. We know there's a bright side to capitalism and how it expands economies and created a middle class. We know the middle class has been eviscerated by greed, and it's resulting in baby boomers having a problem retiring and staying healthy. And now the Gen X generation coming up, they're challenging everything. More than 50% of them don't even believe in capitalism anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, this is big trend stuff.
It's not capitalism, it's fascism. It's the merger of state and corporate powers. And you look at this article in today's Financial Times. Here it is, today's Financial Times. Thursday, 16 August 2018. It's fascism. Look at my notes. This is the way I outline a story when I read it.
Well, again, describe what fascism is exactly.
It's the merger of state and corporate powers. Too big to fail. Who made that crap up? That's not capitalism. In capitalism, you rise and fall on your own merits. But we're too big to fail. We're the richest in the world, and we want to stay the richest, and we're going to steal your money to do it. So the big banks got bigger. And all those Obama lovers, man, remember when he was running for president, was going to bring them all to justice? Yeah, justice, just us. They all got away with a free ride. Here's the headline. Economists warn on dominance of U.S. corporate giants. Slow wage growth amid rising revenues is contributing to income inequality, says experts. America's biggest companies are grabbing a swelling share of revenues while workers suffer from pedestrian wage growth, teeing up an intensifying debate over whether public policy needs to be responded to. This is the Financial Times. This is the World Socialist Organization. What public policy? A bunch of low-life SOBs called politicians that sold us out. People call it campaign contributions, bribes and payoffs. They did away with all the antitrust laws to prevent this from happening. The millennials, nah. Look at the baby boomers. Remember our generation, peace and love, simplicity. Then they buy those McMansions. They shop until you drop. And now they're ready to drop dead as baby boomers with only that much left in life, and they got no dough to get there. And you know what they're going to do with these McMansions?
They're going to become boarding houses.
You got it. And that's in the Trends
Or maybe
Journal.
nursing homes.
Yeah, or nursing homes.
Yeah.
So anyway, the millennials are like they are because they don't have the dough. Give them money, they'll become like the boomers did, selling out. Peace and love, they don't even talk about peace anymore. And don't talk about love, because then I'm going to report you to Me Too.
All right, we have one more topic we have to get to. We have a little time for it, and it has to do with health. And both you and I are very concerned with our personal health, the health of the people we care about. And to be healthy in this culture, you have to be informed. What are we learning about smartphones and cell phones? This is as ubiquitous as a wallet.
Yep. You know why they call them handhelds?
Why so?
Because people are masturbating in public.
All right, but is it healthy?
No, it's like cigarettes. Look, it took until the late 1990s before the tobacco industry admitted. They lied in front of Congress. 1990s. That no, there's no evidence that the smoking is dangerous for your health. It's the same thing with this. There's study after study.
They're telling us that the microwaves coming out of here do not affect our brains,
Yeah.
do not cause cancer.
Yeah, and it keeps swallowing those GMOs. Oh, that Bill Clinton, that lovely Democrat, shoved down our throat. Hey, they just got hit with what? A $289 million fine for that guy that's died. Then the jury found from GMOs. They lie about everything. These are paid-off politicians. The government, all the agencies, it's an inside-out operation. It goes back to fascism. The merger of state and corporate powers. The corporate powers are running the show. I've been doing research on this when I began working for the Cellular Telecommunications Industry Association back in the early 90s when they had these big things in the trunk with the aerials. You look at the research coming out time and time again, it comes out and boom. Hey, did you hear about Stormy Daniels?
Okay.
They don't follow the research. These are dangerous for your health.
We're not going to end our segment here without giving a positive spin on something, which is when we have a big problem, it means that there is a chance for an entrepreneur to come in and make some money. What do you see as a trend there regarding cell phone?
Entrepreneur opportunity. I'm the man that coined the term, as you well know, clean foods. Back in the 90s, New York Times did a story on it. Clean phones.
Clean phones, I like it. When can I buy one?
As soon as the right entrepreneurs develop them. The other thing we have to watch out now is about this 5G. There's new cell towers that they're putting in a neighborhood near you. You want to get some nice doses of radiation.
Microwave radiation.
Oh, it'll be good for you. It'll blow your brains. I may be the last person standing without one of these. Yeah, so here's the one that I have. Got it from AARP. There's not more than 10 calls on this all year long.
It looks like from 1975.
Well, they didn't have them back then. But again, I only carry this when I'm traveling. You know, if you're not going to get me during the day, big deal. Oh, there may be an emergency. Yeah, you know, when did everybody start carrying these? Around 2000? You got along without them. When I take a longer trip in my car, I put it in the glove compartment, if I remember. And then you'll get me when you reach me. When I travel overseas, you know, or travel around the country, you know, when I get to the hotel, you'll get a hold of me. What's the big deal? You don't get a hold of me right away. Oh, and now, by the way, it's not only these things that are killing your brain because of the waves. They're killing you because you're addicted to them. You think people are reading what I'm reading? You think they're doing this? No, everything is really quick. Oh, and by the way, the hunchbacks of Notre Dame, man, they'll be everywhere as everybody's walking around like this.
There's actually now a medical term, screen addiction.
Yeah, but it's worse than that.
Well, Gerald, it is always informative and exciting to talk to you. The new August Trends Journal is out. I'm glad we had a chance to get inside and talk a little bit about some of the key issues that people can find in it.
Oh, and there's a lot more in there.
Well, that's great.